Hello Dino Peeps. Well, it looks like we got the FAQ after all. And that was after I announced that it's not coming. And here we go. Surprise! I just finished a 3-hour stream ending official server legacy, and then I recorded the German video, and here I am, English video. I'm up for 24 hours now, so this is gonna be all over the place. I hope you bear with me. We are looking at the community crunch, and we are skipping over the part where they explain to us what Ark Survival Ascended is, because I have a video about it. So if you're unsure about it, just skip to the video and watch that first. And I am going right into the question and answer part here. We are talking about, will there be a pre-order? And Wildcard says there is not going to be a pre-order. It's not planned to put Ark Survival Ascended into a pre-order. You can just buy the game as soon as it's available. And there will also not be early access in a way of that somebody gets earlier access than anyone else. I mean, the game will be early access, but nobody will have earlier access to the game. So everyone will have the game from day one. Then we're talking about crossplay. Will there be crossplay? And crossplay will be rolled out in 3 phases. The first starts in October, and it will enable crossplay for Xbox Series XS, Windows PC, so this is Windows Store version, and PlayStation 5. So just that you know, there won't be any Steam PC crossplay at launch in October. Then we're going to phase 2, and that is December. And they say this is a wildcard ETA, which means we also have a winky eye, which means it can be delayed. And we should probably assume it will be delayed. And this second phase will enable crossplay for all platforms, so Steam can play with Xbox. They mention Xbox, they don't mention PlayStation, so I'm not sure if PlayStation and Steam won't be able to play with each other. You can tell me if you know more about this, because PlayStation is not mentioned at all here. So if you're now scared that the crossplay will be forced on everyone, it's not like that. There will still be a console-only cluster, special servers that will lock out all of the PC players. So you can just be as a console player with other console players. For fairness reasons, you can just stick around with each other. Then there will be a phase 3, and this is time framed for 2024, so next year. No other info, and this is going to be the cross progression, which means you can use your character and switch between different platforms, and you will take your progression with you. Since this takes a little bit of work with the Epic online system, you will have to wait until next year for this. But this is the 3 stages of crossplay. Then we go to the next question, and this is what changes have been made to the servers. And we will not get a higher player cap. We already know this now, but the render distance will be significantly better, so you will see bases from further away. And that is pretty good, because we love to fly around on servers, on full servers with big bases, and then suddenly a base pops up right around us. We don't like this, we don't want this, so this is a good change that will help a lot of people. The servers for now are kept at 70 players because they do not have the technology nor the hardware to offer servers for more people. It's still open for unofficial server owners to increase the player count, but that also depends on the hardware of your server you have, so be careful with this. And then we come to the questions: what content have made it into the day 1 patch? And one big thing, I think, for everyone is the question, will cryopods be in the day 1 version? And they are not. And this is something I'm quite unhappy about. I know a lot of people are happy about, especially in PvP. People are probably very excited about it. My reasons why I'm not happy about it has nothing to do with gameplay in particular, but mainly because of that we need cryopods for debugging creatures. When we are working on theory crafting and when we are working on third-party software where you can check your stats and where you can check things, we need cryopods in order to sync the stats of the creature. There is a chance that this problem with the stats not showing correctly and not syncing correctly, that this is solved in ASA, and that the AI of dinos never breaks and that dinos never get stuck under the mesh. If that's the case, I probably don't need cryos. But if that is still an issue, we will have an ASA, then we will all miss cryopods very much. I feel very sorry for server admins having to pull dinos out of the mesh and to unstuck dinos if they get stuck on things, where we usually would just cryo them and uncryo them. So this is going to be a rough time. And I'm not even mad about cryos not there because they make the game so much easier. For me, the cryopod is the #1 debugging tool when something goes wrong. So we will see. Maybe our admin is just will just make his own cryos. Who knows? Steven, if you hear this, just make like Norwegian cryos. Yeah, no cryos. But what else made it into the version of the patch, the day 1 version? We have overhauled building. We already saw this. We have new building pieces. Then one thing is they disabled leveling of movement speed on all creatures, not only flyers, but all creatures. Unofficial servers can enable it again, and I'm pretty sure we will. But that's gonna be tough, especially when you're taming a stego. We talked about it earlier that stegos are so slow and you need to push so many levels into movement speed to make them proper farmer. Well, we will see what happens with that. Then we get small dino quality of life changes, which is nice. We will have a look into that once the game is out. And then the big part that's probably most interesting for us, and that is the breeding changes. We know there were breeding changes announced, but we didn't know what they changed. So first of all, they said it was really scary to change breeding. We know because breeding is a mess. The mechanics around it is a mess. And I think they noticed that as well. They are not going to fix that you can get more than 20 mutations, but they are removing the 255 point cap per stat, which is interesting, but I'm not entirely sure what exactly that means. Does this mean that you can set it higher than 255, or does it mean that you can set it anything to the point of 255? It's not quite clear, but if it's more than 255, that's gonna be fun. They said they're also going to implement the breeding mechanic a little bit more clean and changing how mutations work. This is going to be interesting for us because that means we need to make a whole new breeding video. We need to make a whole new breeding tutorial. But that's fine, we can do this. Next is another big point that I'm excited about, and that's the character creation overhaul. We can finally have characters that look human, but they have like a little twist to it. If you really don't like your character to look human and you really want to be an abomination of the Arks, you still can be. They integrated the broken character editor that turns you into like a, well, how would I say, a clump of human. They implemented it back, so while you can be a human, you can also be a clump of human. You have the choice. Then we get new Gareth Coca music. Very excited because I love Ark music. And then we also got a little bit info about DLSS, RTX DE and FrameGen. And we got the info that Nvidia is integrating this by themselves into ASA. That's actually pretty cool that Nvidia is working on it themselves to integrate it. Then to the question why they're using Unreal Engine 5.2 and not 5.3, they say because it's just out and they need to upgrade the plugins, and it is just a hassle to just upgrade it all the time, and it's quite risky. So they're waiting for 5.3 to be supported by everything they're using, everything they have integrated, and then they are going to upgrade later. So 5.2 is where it's at right now. Gameplay we're getting before the launch. That's nothing new. We already knew this. We don't get any date for this. Next is what about cheaters? And they're working on an efficient anti-cheat. Of course, they're not saying what they're working on because we don't want the cheaters to be prepared for what's coming for them. But they're also saying that they're introducing the bounty program in which you can report hackers or which you can report hacks and glitches and whatever. You get paid for making cheaters' life worse. I mean, that sounds good. And we get info about Survival of the Fittest. It will be called Survival of the Fittest again, and it will not be available at launch. That's a little bit of a bummer because I was looking forward to maybe set up a Survival of the Fittest server, but we will not have it, but we will get it as an in-game downloadable mod for the winter release. A little thing that was also tied to the SOTF release was the queue. that especially PvP players have been looking forward to. They have to wait until the winter release as well. They're trying to integrate it as quick as possible. Then another thing is events, Extra Life. What's going on with this? The first event, the in-game event that we're getting, is going to be the Winter Wonderland. So this year we're missing out on Fear Evolved, which is okay. Even though it's probably everyone's favorite event, but it's okay. Missing out on Fear Evolved, but getting ASA, it's all worth it. Extra Life is also going to be with bonus raids, so let's see, that's gonna be crazy. Like 1 month in and we already get crazy raids, but at least it means we can probably test the servers a little bit. With the creature submissions, they also said they're going to take a break because people are a little bit tired of voting. And also, they want to see how the balance is going to be with the new creatures and then continue the creature voting once ASA is out, which I think is a smart idea. And then they're also talking about why they have been so silent. And I think I already told you that in a previous video, that they were just like very busy working on ASA. They had a very tight plan, crunch hours, etc, etc. So after ASA is out, I think all of the restrictions, what they can talk about, what they cannot talk about, is going to be lifted. So they're going to be much more communicative with everyone. We will see. We will hope. A little bit of memes from Jet and Dolly is basically what we need through our day. And yeah, that is going to be the plan of communication with social media once ASA is out. And then they also brought like one answer to the question why they brought out ASA after all. And they have been very open with it, and that I sometimes miss with other studios, but they said, first of all, they know Ark 2 is going to be very different from what we know with Ark, since it's a Souls-like game. And not everyone is excited about this. So they wanted to bring the classic Ark adventures in a new engine to the people who love Ark. And then they also talk about that working on a game like Ark 2 for an extended time while not having DLCs out that are paying for the development of Ark 2 is a little bit tricky for the studio. And in order to be able to finance the development of Ark 2, they need to have some income coming in. And this is Ark Survival Ascended. So Ark Survival Ascended is basically also not helping them to find out how Unreal Engine 5 works, but also bring in the funds for further developing Ark 2. And this is a nice and open and very straightforward answer, and I really appreciate it. So this was the community crunch. This was the FAQ that we were waiting for and that we were hoping for, that we didn't expect to get, but we got it after all. I'm going to link the community crunch in the description if you want to read it for yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for bearing with me with the chaotic brain that I have right now. I'll see you probably later today, because our Saturday stream is going to be up today. I've tried to be awake and a living human being tonight. I'll see you later then. Have a good one. Bye.